Welcome to our story today, and welcome back to StoryPath English. I am so glad you have found your way back to our circle. Please, take a moment to find a truly comfortable place to sit or lie down. Adjust your cushion, pull a blanket over your shoulders if it's chilly, and let your body settle into a state of rest. Imagine, once again, that we are sitting together by a warm, glowing campfire. The wood is seasoned and dry, popping occasionally with a friendly spark that floats up toward the heavens. Above us, the stars are incredibly bright, far away from the lights of any city, and the air is soft, still, and scented with the faint aroma of pine and wood smoke. Tonight, I want to take you on a journey across a vast landscape, across thousands of miles and thousands of years. I want to tell you a story about a dragon made of stone. It is a structure that almost everyone on Earth has heard of, yet very few truly understand. It is often called the eighth wonder of the world. But today, we aren't just going to look at it as a line on a map or a photo in a textbook. We are going to look at the secret truth behind its creation. This is the story of the Great Wall of China. Close your eyes and imagine a landscape of impossible beauty and terrifying harshness. Imagine jagged, emerald green mountains that touch the clouds, and then, in the blink of an eye, imagine a blistering yellow desert where the wind howls like a lonely ghost. Across all of this, the peaks, the valleys, the sands, and the forests there winds a narrow gray ribbon of brick and stone. From a distance, it looks like a giant serpent resting on the spine of the world. For a long time, people whispered a legend. They said that the Great Wall was the only human-made object that could be seen from the moon with the naked eye. We know now that this isn't true, but the fact that people believed it for so long tells you something about how we feel when we see it. It feels too big to be real. It feels like something built by giants or gods, not by ordinary men and women. But our story begins not with giants, but with a very real, very powerful man named Qin Shi Huang. Over 2,000 years ago, he became the first emperor of a unified China. He was a man of grand visions and deep fears. To his north lived the nomadic tribes, fierce horsemen who could strike like lightning and disappear into the grasslands before an army could even put on their boots. The emperor decided that he needed more than just soldiers. He needed a permanent shadow, a barrier that would define where his civilization ended and the wild began. He didn't actually start the wall from scratch. Many smaller states had built their own walls to protect themselves from each other. But Qin Shi Huang did something radical. He ordered his people to connect those pieces. He wanted to tie the broken threads together into one unbreakable rope. Have you ever tried to finish a task that seemed endless? Perhaps you were cleaning a house or studying for a long exam, and you felt like you would never reach the end. Now, imagine being a farmer or a soldier 2,000 years ago, told that you must move massive stones up a mountain that is so steep you can barely climb it on your hands and knees. This brings us to the first secret of the Great Wall, the secret of its cost. History books often talk about the glory of the empire, but the wall has another name in the hearts of the Chinese people. It is sometimes called the longest cemetery on Earth. It is estimated that nearly 1 million people died during the construction of the early walls. They died from exhaustion, from the biting cold of the mountain winters, from hunger, and from accidents. There is a very famous, very sad story in China about a woman named Lady Mengjiang. Her husband was taken away by the emperor's officials just 3 days after their wedding to work on the wall. When winter came, she made warm clothes for him and traveled thousands of miles to find him. But when she arrived, she learned that he had already died from the back-breaking labor. The story says that she sat by the wall and wept so bitterly, with so much love and grief, that a section of the wall collapsed, revealing the bones of her husband so she could give him a proper burial. When we look at the beautiful stone towers today, we must remember that every brick was carried by a human being. There were no trucks, no cranes, no engines. There were only hands, backs, and a fierce, terrifying determination. Can you see them in your mind? Lines of men passing stones one by one, their breath misting in the cold air, their feet slipping on the frozen mud. The wall was built on a foundation of stone, yes, but it was also built on a foundation of human stories. As the centuries passed, different dynasties added to the wall, but the version we see most often today, the grand brick-faced wall with the watchtowers, was built much later. By the Ming dynasty, about 500 years ago, the Ming builders were masters of engineering, and they had a secret ingredient that sounds like it belongs in a kitchen rather than a construction site. If you were to take a piece of the mortar, the glue that holds the bricks together, and analyze it in a laboratory, you would find something incredible. They used sticky rice. Yes, the same rice people eat for dinner. They mixed a soup of sweet, sticky rice with lime to create a mortar that was incredibly strong. It was so effective that in many places, the rice glue is still stronger than the bricks themselves. It resisted earthquakes, it resisted the lashing rain, and it resisted the passage of time. It is a reminder that sometimes the simplest things, when used with wisdom, can create something that lasts forever. Have you ever wondered how a king in a palace thousands of miles away would know if an enemy was attacking the wall? This is another secret of the wall's design. It wasn't just a fence, it was the world's first high-speed internet. Along the top of the wall, there are thousands of signal towers. If a guard saw an enemy approaching, he would light a fire. During the day, they used smoke mixed with wolf dung because it created a thick, dark pillar that could be seen from miles away. At night, they used bright, clear flames. One tower would light its fire, and the next tower, seeing the smoke, would light its own. In just a few hours, a message of danger could travel across the entire length of the country, crossing mountains and rivers faster than any horse could gallop. It was a nervous system for a giant. But here is a truth that many find surprising. The Great Wall didn't always work. If an army was large enough, they could find a way through. Sometimes they found a weak spot, and sometimes they simply bribed a guard to open a gate. Even the greatest wall in the world is only as strong as the people who stand upon it. Genghis Khan, the great Mongol leader, once famously said, "The strength of a wall depends on the courage of those who defend it." Eventually, the age of walls came to an end. Modern cannons and airplanes made stone barriers feel small and outdated. The Great Wall was abandoned for a time. The wind began to whistle through the empty watchtowers. Trees began to grow through the cracks in the bricks. In some places, farmers took the stones to build their own houses and barns. It seemed as though the dragon was finally falling asleep, fading back into the earth from which it came. But in the 20th century, something changed. The people of China and the people of the world began to look at the wall differently. They realized it wasn't just a military tool anymore. It was a symbol. It was a testament to what human beings can achieve when they work together toward a single, impossible goal. Today, the Great Wall is a place of peace. Instead of soldiers with spears, there are travelers with cameras. Instead of smoke signals of war, there are the voices of children laughing and learning. It has become a bridge between the past and the present. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, protected so that your grandchildren and their grandchildren can one day stand on those stones and look out at the horizon. Think about the sheer scale of it for a moment. If you took all the bricks and stones from the Great Wall of the Ming Dynasty alone, you could build a wall 5 feet high that would circle the entire Earth at the equator. It is more than 13,000 miles long. That is like driving from the top of North America to the bottom of South America and then starting halfway back again. As we sit here by our campfire, I want you to think about the walls we build in our own lives. Sometimes we build walls to keep people out because we are afraid. Sometimes we build walls to protect the things we love. But the Great Wall teaches us that even the strongest wall is not just a barrier, it is a path. The top of the wall is a road, wide enough for 5 horses to ride side by side. It was meant to keep people apart, but today it brings people from every nation together to wonder at its beauty. The secret truth of the Great Wall is that it isn't really about the stone or the sticky rice. It's about the spirit of a people who looked at a mountain and said, "I will climb it." It's about the spirit of those who looked at a desert and said, "I will cross it." It is a monument to endurance. It tells us that no matter how long the path is, no matter how heavy the stones are, if we keep placing one brick after another, we can create something that the world will never forget. The fire is burning low now. The bright orange flames have turned into a soft, pulsing red glow. The stars seem even closer now, watching over us, just as they watched over the guards on the Great Wall 2,000 years ago. The world is quiet, and the night is deep. When you think of the Great Wall now, I hope you see more than just a wall. I hope you see the dragon winding through the mist. I hope you hear the echoes of the workers, and I hope you feel the strength of a promise kept across the ages. History is a long road, and we are all just travelers upon it. Some of the paths we walk were built by those who came before us, and some of the paths we must build ourselves. May you have the strength to carry your own stones and the wisdom to build something that brings beauty to the world. Thank you for spending this time with me at StoryPath English. It is a privilege to share these journeys with you. As you leave our campfire tonight, may you carry the peace of the still air and the wonder of the stone dragon with you. The night remains still and the shadows are long. May you find rest in the thought that some things, built with enough love and labor, truly do last forever. Sleep well, or go into your day with the heart of a builder. Until we meet again by the fire, remember that your story is part of a much larger path. This is the story of the Great Wall, and this is StoryPath English. Goodbye for now, my friends.